You are listening to Wicked Psychotherapists, a podcast where two psychotherapists show you that taking care of and learning about mental health doesn't have to be wicked hot.
Hey everyone, this is Tanya.
Hi, this is Erin, and welcome to Wicked Psychotherapists.
So today we are going to be talking about another Winona Ryder classic because we're on a Winona Ryder bend. So I don't know if people like this or not. The ones that are tuning in, obviously, if you're listening, you do.
Thanks for understanding our brain.
Yeah, that's just the way we go. We go 80s, we go classic, we go Winona Cher. Yeah. So today we're going to be talking about the classic Heathers, which is amazing.
Yay.
Love Heathers. If you have not seen this movie and you are not of our generation, that being like the Gen X, slightly like older millennial-esque generation, this may seem a bit, there may be some elements in this that may seem kind of crass or kind of like outdated as they are.
Not PC.
Yeah, very much not. It's a dark, like kind of, I think, commentary on a lot of things, but it is wonderful. It's got Christian Slater in it, which we both agreed we loved at the time, and he's probably still great now, but we don't really see him too much.
Mm-hmm.
But lots of mental health goodies packed in here. So many mental health.
Yeah.
I think issues, things to explore, even possible fan theories. That I do want to bring up that one that we were talking about.
Okay.
I think it'd be interesting just to see. Because it kind of was like, oh, wow, it's just a whole new way to look at it. But so anyway, so this movie came out in 89, again, in the line of all the movies we've been talking about, like Beetlejuice and Mermaids, Edward Scissorhands. And so it was that late 80s kind of point of view, talking about a group of gals named Heather who are in this high-powered popular clique in high school. And then there's Winona Ryder, who is Veronica. She's a Veronica who is accepted into this group. And we start to realize there's like a definite hierarchy to each of these Heathers and Veronica. We start to see all these issues coming in, all these things that make Veronica want to kind of say like, oh, I don't really want to be a part of this, but she still kind of does, and all the things that happen in between.
Yeah.
I just have to say, the slang in there is amazing. The like, get crucial, what's your damage? Like, you know, the phrasing of like is so 80s, and the clothing is like the big poofy hair. I love that.
Yeah.
That's something that I
and
think
everyone wearing tights with their dresses.
Yes, like multicolored tights.
Yeah.
Oh,
I used to love those.
Time. Me too. Oh,
they're
my
coming
gosh,
back.
me too.
I've seen them, and so
Well, we gotta
yeah.
get some multicolored tights then. I want purple and green. But yeah, so we see, you know, that in the Heather clique, there's 3 different Heathers. They all happen to be named Heather.
Yeah.
But the one who leads, Heather Chandler, she is kind of always chooses to wear red as like her power color, her chosen color. When they are playing, what's it called, croquet at the beginning, she's always red, kind of indicating she's the one that's in power. She's the one that sets the rules. We also see the other 2 Heathers. One, Heather McNamara, she's yellow. She's kind of more passive, doesn't really know what she wants, just kind of listens and seems kind of depressed, and nobody seems to really notice that.
Right.
But kind of just follows along. And then Heather Duke, who's played by Shannon Doherty, which is amazing. Right before 90210, I think, right? Right before the original 90210.
I don't remember when 902. I feel like it was.
I think that came out in like the early 90s, so I think it was probably right before.
Yeah.
But she is great in that she is kind of the Heather that she's seemingly very meek and passive, is dealing with an eating disorder, but she really wants the power that Heather Chandler, the red Heather, commands and yields. So we start to see kind of some of the dynamics play out with some of the Heathers and Veronica when Heather Chandler, the red. I'm just going to say the colors.
Yeah, because I don't. Yeah, I was going to say I don't know their last names.
Yeah, kind of. For some reason, I looked this up before and it kind of stuck in my head. But let's just use the colors.
Yeah, just Heather.
Would remember. So the red Heather, she invites Veronica to a college party, and she's kind of trying to pressure her into being with her boyfriends friend, or Heather is trying to pressure Veronica into being with like kind of, going and doing stuff sexually with the friend. Veronica's not into it. She drank too much. She kind of can't really like hang at the level that Red Heather wants her to. And so she yaks all over her shoes, Veronica does. And Red Heather is just like loving that.
Well, and plus I think her and JD were together by this time too.
Yeah, that's another thing is, yeah, exactly. She had met JD, which is a character he's got a lot of layers to him, which is, Christian Slater. But he comes in like a black trench coat. He kind of quotes things from literature like greetings and salutations from, what is it, Charlotte's Web?
Yeah, like greetings and salutations. And
yeah, he's kind of got like, you could tell he's not a dummy, but he's very much antisocial. He's outside of kind of the norms of everything. And Veronica's very attracted to this.
Well,
Why do you think she's kind of like into that?
Well, it's complete opposite of everything that she's been groomed and expected, because she's with the popular clique, and she's obviously, I assume her family is very wealthy. So they probably expose her to a certain type of people that they want her to be around, and probably a lot of the upper level jocks and people who are very wealthy. And JD from the outside, doesn't appear like he's really cares much about the materialistic stuff. Though it does seem like his father is doing pretty well with his company or something. He explodes buildings, so I'm not sure what his dad does. But
maybe just explosives. I don't know if that's a business, but
yeah, but he's a complete differently. Like when she first sees him in the cafeteria, he's sitting in the corner, kind of just watching and lurking, just watching what are these Heathers doing? Why are they taking these surveys table to table? Which that's so obnoxious too, that they feel like they are just so important that everyone in the cafeteria is going to stop eating and want to answer their stupid question that they have.
Yeah.
But they kind of want, oh wait, the Heathers are looking at me. They're talking to me. So JD's just watching the whole time. And I think that and Veronica's like looking, and she probably is like, oh, he's really different. He's, he's dark, and, he's wearing black. He's not wearing a color. He's intriguing. He looks mysterious. So she probably likes, like that complete opposite of what she's been exposed to probably her whole life.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's definitely something that's different. And in the land that she's in, the world that she's in, the Heathers have just kind of that social, I don't know, those social norms have just been dominating for so long that she was like, oh, I could deal with some of that, and then they, of course, do some little flirty flirts, and she goes and asks him the lunchtime poll, and he's like, what's a Heather? What's a Veronica? Like these things are foreign to me, and she kind of likes that.
He's like, are you a Heather? And she's like, no, I'm a Veronica.
Yeah. Which is kind of telling. Yeah, she definitely is a Veronica, and he's like, all right, I like Veronicas. But that's very cute. I think they dated in real life too, right? Christian Slater and Winona Ryder. They were dating during that time.
I don't know, because I think that was the same time that Johnny and her were. Is this the controversy, people? Did her and Johnny end up because of Christian Slater? Are we uncovering it? Are we TMZ?
Or has this already been so covered and everyone's like,
they're like, Aaron and Tanya, that's like 40 years ago. Which...
we're like, breaking news. Oh my God, from 1989.
News from 1988.
Oh my God. It's funny because it says 1988 on Wikipedia, but it says 1989 on different sources too. I don't know what year it came out, so it's around there. But so maybe it was. Were they dating? I don't know.
I don't remember. I remember thinking and wanting them to date in real life, but I don't know.
Yeah, they definitely had good chemistry. Like they were, I mean, for sure in that movie. But yeah, it says they dated briefly in the late 1980s after co-starring in the film Heathers. So their relationship began around 1988 and continued through 1989, about a year or so. Okay, wait. It said it lasted only for 2 weeks before ending.
So 2 weeks or 2 years? Come on, Inquirer.
We're not sure because this is, I'm just Googling this like a pure Google. So it's like AI information that's gathered all around.
Right.
It's kind of like when it came out is kind of, I'm seeing 1989, 1988. Who knows? They dated at some point, right? So this was probably before Johnny. Hi, Johnny.
Because that's what we talked about in one of our last episodes, the Johnny.
Yeah. We're obviously like just kind of a podcast that's following Winona Ryder and like, Share.
Maybe our new podcast name is gonna be Winona Share.
Winona.
Winona.
Winona, Cher, and then like whoever else. We just keep adding
and then
on.
we'll just start doing movies of people she dated.
Like
Because I just saw she dated Rob Lowe, Christian Slater.
Did she really?
Yeah.
She dated our Rob Lowe?
I
We
know.
love Rob Lowe.
So
we're now
yeah.
an entity. We love him.
Yes.
So.
Matt Damon.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So there's quite a few.
We're going to do a whole profile. Like, this is basically just a dedication, a love letter to you.
Yes, we love you.
Yeah. And then we, mental health and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it
will.
That too. We're not going to forget that part of it.
The Wicked Winonas. Oh my God. That's our name. Like, whenever we get into obsession.
We become obsessed.
Because it's all going to be in the 80s. Like, it's all going to originate from there.
Well, it's all women. It's strong women. It's, it's
great actresses. They've left an impression. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely a draw between JD and Veronica, as there was in real life, and they start to date, and this kind of conflicts with how Veronica acts, and the Heathers are kind of like, oh, where's Billy the Kid, kind of thing, and they kind of notice that she's spending some time with him, and she's introduced to some new elements, right? Because he kind of starts to question, like, why do you have to do these lunchtime polls? Or like, why do you do this? And Veronica's kind of like, well, because they're, this is kind of how she does it. And, this is kind of how we do things. And he's like, but why? He kind of has her questioning that, even though she's kind of on the verge there herself.
Yeah.
That's why she's attracted.
Yeah. Because I think the first question was sometimes about aliens or something else. And it's like, who really, let me just answer this question. Because a Heather is asking it.
Yeah, you kind of see this established, like, everybody knows that they set the trends, these Heathers, and all their, like, dumb jock boyfriends, right? There's the stereotypical jocks that are in there, Kurt and Ram, which we have more to talk about with them later. But they, they're like, they set the standard, and JD is very much like, F the standard kind of thing, like, that's just not for me, and why should you, question it, and anarchy, and this, and he even like gives that book to, do you remember he gives the book on like anarchy, and he's like, I need your strength to Heather Duke.
Yeah.
Like to kind of be like, you become this
you should become the new Heather.
He's like trying to incite chaos. Like
And then she takes it. She bites into it.
You've probably already watched
Spoilers. Spoilers.
Hopefully you've watched
over
it.
30 years ago. Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, and so after a while, there's the after the Remington party incident where Red Heather's basically like, I'm gonna damage this is gonna like ruin your whole reputation. You couldn't hang this. You're gonna go back to like playing with like your nerdy friends kind of thing. That's where I found you. Veronica kind of says like she's hey, this is what's going on, and JD's kind of probably pissed that like, hey, that's my girl. First off, but like also, we can really get her back.
Yeah, and Veronica is like throughout the whole movie is like angrily writing in her diary, which again, that's a Winona Ryder thing. It's like every director is like, let's have Winona write in a diary or narrate.
She's a good introspective, introverted person it'll benefit her character.
Yes.
Yeah, it definitely does.
So we're here for that. But it does seem like she starts talking about like that she, Heather dead, and she's just writing this, and then JD climbs in the window, and then she's raw and upset, and so they start talking about it. It's like, all right, let's make it happen. Let's get her sick, because they know that she's sick from drinking too much at that party at home. So then he kind of convinces her, which is like one of those manipulations things too. It's like one of those moral ethical things with, Veronica. She sees JD pour the Drano or whatever it is into a mug, and she's like, oh, no, we just want to get her sick with orange juice and milk and make her throw up. Wouldn't that be funny? And
like she's thinking more kind of like, oh, like something gross or yucky, like to make her just like feel gross and like know that she ingested that.
Right. And he's like, oh no. And then she accidentally grabs the poison one. He doesn't stop her. But also, she had to have seen it when she opened the lid, because it's bright blue. So it's not, like orange or whatever color the orange and milk was.
Well, I think it was kind of like, I don't know if she saw that, but like I think she had the sense that JD was kind of not joking.
Yeah.
Like she kind of, and there was a part of her that was like, hey, I kind of deeply want this, but I don't think she wanted that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think she wanted to act it out, but she did hand her the Drano. And this is where that odd fan theory comes in that I never thought, that I thought was kind of interesting. That this is not to say this is true. This is just kind of positing like a what if we looked at it from this angle kind of thing, that JD is a figment of Veronica's imagination. And that like he's kind of the angry part that can act on these things that she actually really kind of wants subconsciously, but maybe can't really fulfill, sort of thing.
Yeah, very Fight Club vibes there.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And so Heather's like, of course, Red Heather is like, oh, what did you like blow a loogie in there or whatever 80s term she says, and then she drinks it because of course she's not against a dare, and she just keeps drinking the Drano, which I can't imagine. I think she's just drinking it so fast, like, oh, I'll just get through this, because that's how powerful she needs people to see her, that like, oh, she won't down for anything. And her last words are corn nuts. Like,
yes.
That's so awful. Corn nuts. I mean, that's just
because she doesn't want to just swear
sums up her
or whatever.
existence. It's like all she wants is something, just this basic food of just corn nuts. It's just like so.
Well, I think that's her way of saying like, crap or something like that, because that's what she would say. I don't think she wants to eat them because
I thought corn nuts was like what she ate.
No, she said that whenever she was like, corn nuts, like rats.
Oh, really?
I don't think she.
I never even noticed that. That's so funny. So even as she's dying, I mean, not literally funny, but that's so like strange. Like literally as she's dying, she not even swear. She's still a lady.
Yeah, that's what
still
it was.
About her image,
instead of like throwing an F-bomb or something.
Oh, okay. I didn't even realize that. So that makes sense then. Yeah. So she's like not even, her image is still to her last dying breath. Is still important to her. So that kind of shows the strength of how much image goes into, like, okay, you have to put up a show to be the one in power. You have to live it. You have to do it even up until you die. And then, of course, we know that with JD's encouragement and with Green Heather, Shannon Doherty, always wanting to be like Heather, she starts to kind of move into her spot.
Yeah.
Because, like Winona said, you cut off one Heather's head, or maybe it was JD that said it. Yeah. You cut off one Heather's head, it's going to sprout a new one in place. And he knows that.
Yeah. And Shannon Doherty Heather end up going into the locker, Red Heather's, and getting in the bow. And then all of a sudden she has the red bow in her hair and she's transformed into this powerhouse of Heather. Like all of a sudden she's not this meek person anymore. It's like, no, I'm going to just, everyone's going to do what I want.
Yeah, there's like, it's the image of like, the red scrunchie represents power, or like, I'm in this position. And so people, like, I'm going to start doing lunchtime polls. I'm going to start to do the same things that kind of kept everyone in place.
I was going to say in check. Yeah, that's, in place. Yeah, so they know what's up.
Yeah. And so, and there's a whole, like, if you look at the color psychology of that, as we all know, red is like kind of power and green is kind of envy. And then we have the other Heather who is yellow. She's kind of struggling with depression, and she has this point where she calls up one of their favorite radio stations. It's like a problem solving hot probs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So 80s.
1-800 hot probs. Yeah.
1-800 hot probs. And she kind of says, like, I'm depressed. My parents are divorced. The last guy I was with killed himself, which is another kind of set up by JD.
Yeah.
And Heather Duke, the Green Heather, laughs at it and passes it all around because she's like, oh, we're going to make fun of that because that's exposing a vulnerability. That's not cool.
Yeah. Even though your friend is depressed.
And in the meantime, they're glamorizing Red Heather's suicide. So it's kind of like this opposing force of like, that was cool because she was cool. But Heather Chandler, the yellow Heather, was very much like actually having mental health issues and then wants to go and kill herself. She does try, and Veronica stops her with the pills in the bathroom.
Yeah. And she's like, what are you doing? And they actually have a real moment. And and the yearbook committee is like, okay, we're going to make a 2-page spread. We're going to post her suicide note. We're going to do all this, which is so awful. Like if it was in real life, it's like, it is very much glamorizing, and it's making the other kids just be like, okay, well, would I get this much attention? Like there's that song, like, so, like that.
Suicide.
Yes. Teenage suicide. Don't do it. By, I can't remember the shirt, but they all have the shirt.
Big fun.
Yeah. Cause that's the shirt that, that one girl is wearing.
Martha
Dumpstock. Yeah. And so that's it too. It's like, okay, well, we're going to, you play the song again for the 20 millionth time. Like it's
like such a trend, but like then you actually see someone struggling with it and and Martha tries to, she's very much ridiculed, she's bullied for her weight, for how she looks, and she actually is like, I want to, she goes out and tries to kill herself, puts a sign on her and tries to like belly flop into traffic. It gets mocked. That gets mocked. Like these are actual like mental health suicide predictors that maybe it wasn't really fully understood then, but I think it's pretty common sense to say that could, if they tried it, then that could lead to suicide.
Yeah, and also poor Martha, she had a lot of signs too. Like she was isolated, she was mocked, she was bullied, she was probably depressed. You find out one of the Veronicas, yellow Veronica and her used to be best friends when they're little.
Or it was green.
Was it
Heather.
Green Heather? Okay, so
I can't. Shannon Doherty.
Oh, was it? Okay, but so that's also probably difficult. So then you see one of your old best friends now like a super jerk, like and just very popular and mocking you and publicly ridiculing you. So it is probably hard.
Yeah, and it was kind of like Veronica's friend Betty Finn, and I think Veronica still is like, oh hi, she wants to be friendly with her, and then Red Heather, when she's still alive, is like, what are you doing? That's like social suicide. And, you see all the setup of these rules, then you see with JD how he kind of sets up and manipulates Veronica into basically murdering, the Red Heather, and then the two jocks, Duke and Curtin Ram. But you also see that there's a small part of Veronica that kind of knows, and JD calls her out on that.
Yeah,
that
with the
this
guys.
is kind of what you want.
Yeah, because the guys, like he said that, oh no, they're blanks. It's different than blanks. It's these other type of bullets that
these German bullets.
Yeah, these German bullets that it's like what? That doesn't even make sense. That they'll be sedated for a little bit. It'll look like they're dead, but they're not really dead. So, and then when she shoots one of them right in the neck, she's like, oh my gosh, I don't think he's waking up. I don't think he's okay. And then he runs down and, kills the other one. And after it's all done, she's like, we really killed them. Or, he's like, yeah. He's like, I think you knew that the whole time. You just wanted to believe what you wanted to believe, which a lot of times we do. And, and their relationship is so toxic. And he's very good at manipulating her and manipulating what the truth is and finding her weaknesses and her vulnerabilities of, oh, well, she's upset at these guys. So how do I, turn her anger into something that I want to do? Because he probably is like, ugh, I hate these jocks or I hate these types. This is my 7th school I've been to in a couple of years. I know how everybody is, because he keeps saying that. He's like, I different schools, same type of people. So he could be acting on his aggression for, there's probably been other people like Heather in different schools, the other type of jock. So he's probably, always been ostracized and just like, I want to seek revenge on this.
Yeah, he knows the roles and he's very much decided, I don't want any part of it. In fact, I want to actually at this point destroy it. And this is how I'm going to do it. And he's got his own backstory, JD. You see the interactions with his dad. It's very odd. It's very, as you pointed out, very disconnected. The dad talks in a point of view from like, hey dad, here's my girlfriend. And he speaks for him. It's kind of like how they let their needs be known. They have a very bizarre way of communicating. We learned that his mom, first it says like accidentally got blown up by one of the dad's explosives in a building, but then he realized she did it intentionally. JD is aware of that. So he's probably pretty messed up from that. Probably some resentment, some disconnect, major struggles moving from school to school and not feeling like he's accepted and just seeing the same roles over and over again and being like, what is the point of this? This is so stupid. But it's actually kind of turned him, to a point that we wouldn't call healthy, right? To deal with it. It's actually kind of I thought of this, the trench coat kind of reminds me of Columbine.
Yeah.
They wore the trench coats and that was, about 8 years later or so, 90, 97, 98, 99, late 90, 99, I think it was. So maybe like a decade later, but kind of that feeling of like the ostracized person, they get so angry and they start to come up with different means of, some people can be pushed to their limits and we don't really know what that looks like for everybody.
And what the signs are and why. And, JD, definitely probably had some antisocial, I don't know, personality. I don't know if it was personality disorder or what was happening, but
definitely had traits.
definitely had traits. He had the trauma of his mom. He probably knew in his heart that it was his dad's fault. And that's probably why he was very cold and distant. And his dad also probably separated himself from JD because of maybe JD reminded him of his mom. Who knows? And
Yeah, the layers to
yeah,
that.
there's a lot of layers to JD. And he found Veronica. He probably was like, oh, here's someone. She's pretty. She doesn't really fit into, she's not a Heather. So she doesn't really
Mhm.
fully fit into that group. She's there, but just on a string because her name isn't Heather. So they're just kind of let it, and they keep reminding her too. You weren't always cool and popular because of us, because of me.
Mhm.
You are. And he
Right.
probably sees this too.
Yeah. Yeah, the fact that she doesn't dismiss him, like, she wouldn't just be like, "Oh, whatever," like, she actually kind of engages, like, she's intrigued by him, and he
Mhm.
knows that. He's very manipulative, he can pick up on that very quickly, he's a smart person,
Yeah.
and I would say he's also kinda sociopathic too.
Yeah.
He seems to not really care that he's killing these people.
You have to also think about like how the administration is acting around all this. Like when all the, students are killing themselves or, they're talking about like, oh, well, the popular ones or the pretty ones and the annoying hippie-ish teacher. I don't know what role she has, if she's an English teacher, if she just is just floating around the teacher's lounge, but she then makes everyone like hold hands, do this kumbaya type of thing, and just all right,
She's exploiting it,
oh,
very
look, the news
exploitative.
cruise is here now, and we're
Yeah.
all in this. It's so it wasn't really because she wanted to help heal the kids. It was how can I have my 15 minutes of fame?
Yeah, and, like, look what I'm doing to help with this, like, look at my part in this
Yeah.
trend, and lock your paws, the cameras are here, kind of so even you see even the teachers getting in on it, and it kind of brings you back to high school, and you remember what a bubble it is. I think probably a lot of people can relate to this, that it seems like just the whole world is made up of these elements, and they're not going to change,
Mhm.
and you're, like, stuck in it, and it just feels so present and
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah, it is. It's very heavy and it feels very it's like this weird little, of people that you're in school with every day that you wouldn't normally interact with. And usually high schools are a couple different middle schools combined too. So here you have again people you would never have met unless now they're in your high school and there's all these different cliques and all these different social groups that you have to figure out how am I going to interact with them. And
Yeah.
yeah, you do come across like Heatherish type of people. And
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's difficult.
And it's interesting because with the quote of I've seen JD saying I've gone to different schools and it's all the same people, right? Like the different roles. And I think that's actually true for even generations that
Mhm.
the generation, like it's kind of it's evolved in how we see like the popular people or the people that are, kind of like the outcasts, but it's still you still have the hierarchy.
Yeah.
It's still there. I mean, like I can't really speak to nowadays. I'm not too in the know nowadays.
You're not
Maybe
in high
some
school anymore?
yeah, and I don't have any access to that. I don't work with high school
Yeah.
kids, like as clients, but young adults and things like that. It sounds like it's very different, but it's very much the same.
Yeah.
And I can even remember from, I went to high school in the late 90s, and graduated in the early 2000s, and it was different than Heather's, but it was the same. You knew who the popular kids were, you knew who the outcasts
Mhm.
were, you knew who the kids were that you made fun of, and you knew who the kids were that just kind of weren't maybe considered or were just kind of outside of that,
Right.
me, and just kind of that. Yeah.
Mhm.
But it is interesting though because it still can stand the test of time, I think even
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Even though people would say like, "Oh, that's so outdated," a lot of the like you can still apply some of
Yeah.
the same
Oh yeah, definitely.
principles
Yeah, because
there.
it is. I mean, like, it's even if it's not like, "Oh, wait, we don't say that," or "We don't talk like that," or "We don't do that," but it if you take away some of the words and, different things people are doing, there's still the relationships, there's still the ostracism, it's still all there. It's still also
Yeah.
the way teachers may or may not treat more of the popular people a little bit different because that's still there too.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, and it may be, in like maybe smaller communities or maybe not even, if the teachers like are friends with some of their parents or, things like that or went to school
Mhm.
with them,
Yeah.
as students, I don't know. But or maybe their siblings who they disliked or liked a lot. But I think that it really is something that can, like, there's a lot of body shaming in this. There's a lot of anti-gay rhetoric, things like that, that I think would totally not stand up nowadays in terms of a movie, the way that it was presented. But those, now it's just kind of, it's different things, but
Mhm.
it still is the same.
Yeah.
There's still a way to outcast people, still a way to delineate and make
Yeah.
hierarchies.
Whether it's, maybe people are doing it more on social media or they're finding other
Mhm.
things to talk about people. And it's still, the hurt is still there with kids and teens. It's, the bullying is still happening. It just might not be, and maybe it is. And maybe in some instance it is just as loud and as obnoxious and as telling, but maybe they're going behind the scenes a little bit.
I'm actually curious about that. If anybody is, aware of that, like if they're a teacher or in school themselves or have just been in school, if they have any insight to let us know how you feel like different groups are outlined or how that is. Because I have heard from younger generations that it's not as defined, but I think that just means outwardly.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's still there. I think people are, it would be wonderful if it wasn't. It would be great if there was like magic way that all cliques, all, different people just got along, but all the time. But I don't know if that happens. And unfortunately, there's still going to be some people that are left out, and there's still going to be people that manipulate people who might not have the highest self-esteem or self-worth, like JD did with Veronica.
Yeah, and it's interesting because we see, at the end, JD he comes over to kill Veronica, and she's
Mhm.
already came up with a plan
Yeah.
to hang herself so that he kind of can't do anything. And then he kind of in his grief is just kind of like saying his thoughts out loud and is like, oh, I had Green Heather Dukes, like have everyone sign this petition that I can blow up the school.
This is what really
It's
is here. Yeah.
interesting because he wants them to agree to it. It's underhanded. Obviously, they don't know. They think that
Right.
the group Big Fun is coming, but he wants them to kind of be like, we did ourselves in. He needs
Mhm.
that. That's like part of his thinking, the paradigm.
So then also it'd be a huge thing too. So it'd be in the grand thing, like here's one whole establishment that agreed, like we messed up. We have not been doing this right. So we want to end it. And then it'd be proven JD right that all school systems or all people or all whatever it is
it helps his
yeah.
worldview come into play.
It
To
makes
say
him
like,
correct.
oh, yeah, it makes him, and it probably makes his world make sense. Like, oh, my mom was right to have wanted to have blown herself up because
Yeah.
if things are bad, that's what you should do. You should remove yourself
Yeah.
from it. Maybe it kind of justifies that hurt. Oh God, we are therapists.
Yeah.
So
And it is probably full circle too. Like here's JD, his mom, killed himself. His dad just came back all excited. Hey, watch this video of this building blowing up and like it's almost like he's getting both like, okay, well, this is how my mom ended her life. And my dad is very proud when things blow up. Might not notice
fascinating
me,
to
but
him.
he notices buildings blowing up. So
Mhm.
I'd get my dad's
Yeah, he pays
attention.
attention. And then we know that JD ends up, Veronica catches him, stops the bomb. He straps it on himself.
Well,
He goes outside.
before that, I love it when they're in the boiler room and JD, she has the gun and he's like, oh, he sticks up his middle finger and she shoots it off.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that part. Oh man, we're laughing in terms of it being a movie. Okay.
Yeah, this is
It's not
total
something to find
fictional.
funny.
Christian Slater still has all his fingers.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, it's just
Um,
really because I think he did not expect that she would actually do it. I think he thought like,
yeah.
and she did, and he's like, oh, then she shoots him again and leaves and I guess diffuses the bomb or whatever she does because he tells her what button to push. And it's just, yeah, then he comes out and yeah, like a real crazy move. He has the whole bomb strapped to him.
Well, I think he realizes at that point, hey, it's actually me. I got to get rid of me. I'm the one that's
I
not,
should have been stationed. Yeah, he
I
should.
need to
Yeah.
kind of thing. There's a
Wow.
hatred and guilt and shame and probably just like this is probably for the
Yeah.
best. He maybe sees that with some of the things that Veronica does
Yeah.
and says.
That's kind of deep, isn't it? He's been trying to fix everything else, erase everything else, but he actually is the one who wanted to fix himself or have himself out of the picture.
Yeah, it's his own kind of like he has to get out of his own way
Yeah.
in that regard. But that's really sad, obviously. But I remember being like, oh man, he doesn't have to like blow himself
Don't do
up.
it. And like you're young, not me. I don't think Christian Slater in this movie is cute, but young me did. I loved Winona. Is just like, okay, she just puts a cigarette in her mouth and just, all right, do it. Like I'm not even going to be upset that you blow yourself up. And
Yeah,
then
she kind of knows that has to happen.
yeah. And then so she said she's all burnt up because she's so close to when the bomb blows up. And then she goes back into the school and just takes the
just kind of calmly is just like, that's what just happened. They're all in a pep rally. They hear this bomb go off and they have no idea they were just seconds away from all being blown up.
Yeah.
And, and then Veronica goes and grabs the red scrunchie from Green Heather, Shannon Doherty, and she's like, Heather, my love, there's a new sheriff in town. And which is kind of ominous. It's kind of, she goes and talks to Martha Dumbstock and, says, let's make plans for prom. So you're kind of like, is she going to yield the power? Like, is she going to say yield the power in a good way? Or is she going to end up just turning out the same?
No.
See,
is it kind of inevitable? I feel like her move right away, getting that from Green Heather, and Heather's like, what? Then instantly going to find Martha, the person that everyone in the school agrees, like she's the lowest on the totem pole. So, now Veronica, who is now like head Heather, I guess, because she has the scrunchie, is showing everybody it's okay to be kind to other people who are being bullied or might be different. That's what I think. And I think that if there were a Heathers too, I would think that it would have changed a little bit.
And I did see some other people kind of speculating this too, that it's not that her intention is that, but would the role, having the red scrunchie, having
the
to do
power,
that, would that eventually kind of turn her into that anyways? Is that kind of the whole point? Like, no matter what you do,
maybe
there's kind of going to be this force that rules, like,
maybe. And that's kind of what happens to people in real life too, right? Like when they're put in power, different situations, like they might be normal, they might not have ill intent, but
start out really wanting to do well and I think that is the intent, but it's kind of like ominous because it's like, but she has that red scrunchie. She has that kind of, I don't know. And so you kind of don't really know. And I think that's kind of a thinking point of like, is this just a thing that, in groups, is this how people are defined in high school? Is this something that's needed for boundaries, for people to find themselves? Like there has to be kind of a hierarchy, is that kind of, I don't know. I guess that's kind of thinking really beyond it, but
I don't know.
That kind of always was a little bit ominous to me because I was like, oh, but she's still got the red scrunchie. There's still some power to that. There's still some symbolism.
And I was thinking too, maybe she just took it because she's like, I don't want you to have it. You're not, and who knows if she ever.
Yeah, I think that's the intent. I think that absolutely is. It's just about what does it evolve into?
Yeah.
What does it go into? I think she absolutely has good intent of like, oh, let's be friends again. Let's not like be worried about how we appear, but how is that going to turn out?
I don't know.
Like,
maybe she just gives it to Martha.
I mean, I don't know. It could be, but I mean, thinking in realistic terms, this has continued throughout, like we just said, throughout generations. So it's not. I don't know. To me, it kind of leaves a little bit of a commentary of like, oof, this is not a happy ending necessarily, but it kind of is. Like that's what I see. I definitely can see that other point of view, but I think it's like there's kind of in thinking of how it carries on into the other generations and stuff. It's a great movie. It's really, again, I can't imagine unless you're a millennial, late millennial or Gen Xer, that this would fully kind of like you would kind of be like, you kind of had to be there. I feel like it would be a little bit off in watching it, but it is definitely
it is a good movie. I'd recommend it. I mean, it might be be some people might think like if you're younger, you might be like, oh, this is so cringy, but
yeah, and it is. It totally is.
Yeah, I was cringing a little bit. I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot. Because watching it in different lens, but I still enjoyed it. There were parts, like again, it's really fun. I find it fun. Rewatching movies that I watched a million times when I was younger. That's such a disturbing movie to watch over and over. But I did watch it a lot because I just.
That's actually the reason why I didn't watch it again, because I was like, oh, I just watched it like last year, and I was like, I can't watch it again.
It's pretty, especially because there are some parts you're like, but yeah, I mean, it's still really good.
Yeah, no, it's a classic. It really is kind of a little bit like Mean Girls, but with a darker twist.
Yeah,
for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Without it.
Yeah, maybe it is kind of like the Gen X Mean Girls. I don't know.
I think it is. That's what it reminds me of. But it's also a huge commentary on a lot of different things. But it could definitely be I think looked at as that.
Maybe, yeah.
But that's, I mean, there's so many things, mental health wise here, kind of how it ends. Let us know what you think, if you've seen it, if you want to see it, what this, picture that we've tried to give you, what this has you thinking about. Is there anything that you would add, anything that you would want us to know? And also just if you have any suggestions for future episodes, we have some planned out for the next couple months, but we are definitely willing to, change that around or
Yeah.
add to our schedule.
Yeah, definitely.
I love hearing from you guys. So yeah, and our socials, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wicked Psychotherapist. On Facebook, we are The Wicked Psychotherapist. Subscribe, follow, wherever. Leave us a review. 5 stars is amazing. So anything else to
I
add
don't
to
know.
that?
Do you have a question today?
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the question. Okay, so if you were given the chance to have the red scrunchie, right, at your high school or maybe in
Okay.
this fictitious Westerberg High or whatever, what changes would you make, or if any?
Wow.
That's kind of a deep
Let me
one.
go back to the 90s. So I guess because my high school was weird. There were definitely a divide of the cliques. So I feel like there were some, it seemed like a lot of people did get along, but like there were a lot of people I could not stand. But I think if I would not do, I can definitely say I would not do lunchtime surveys with my red scrunchie. I would think that would be super annoying.
Yeah.
Maybe get a better parking spot in the parking lot. Because we just had like the lot that we'd park in, but it'd still be like juniors and seniors would park. Sometimes the juniors would park where it'd be like so annoying, like when you're older. But I don't know. I don't really know if I would do anything with my group of friends or anything like that as far as punishing them or making them do stuff or making other people do anything. I can't think of anything except getting a better parking spot.
I mean, would you do anything to bring people together? Maybe because I mean, they're yielding their power in a not
evil
way, and you could yield it for something good.
Maybe
or something that connects people.
That could be. I mean, maybe combine the, maybe more what Veronica what I'd hope she'd do, is to lead people together. But yeah, I think maybe that might be good to try to figure out to have people sit together in the lunchroom. That might be something, because that's where it always seems like probably high school and middle school is lunch is the worst. It's like, where do I sit? Who do I sit with? Am I going to sit on the stage? Am I going to sit here? Am I going to go outside to sit? Because we had an open campus. So it's like, where do you can sit outside, you can sit in the cafeteria, you can sit on the stage for, the cool people sit on the stage or, certain people. So it was like so maybe like, and like not feeling like people are feeling so ostracized that they have to have like, just the geeks sit at one table or just, it's okay if you sit at our table.
Yeah, so maybe some sort of like lunchtime, like, hey, let's switch this up kind of thing.
Yeah.
And kind of get to know people. That's a good, yeah. I think, even having, I would like to think I would think of this, but I don't think I would back in high school. So this is more like older Tanya,
Okay.
like 2020. Like, I don't think I would have, like looking back with 2020 vision. But I think I would like to kind of have like events that would allow people to get to know other people and would have them interacting, and I don't know, maybe seeing that they might need someone who knows about computers, or they might need someone who, kind of that type of thing. But I don't really know how that would be. But I would think that would be like a nice thing. That's just me thinking now. I don't think I would have thought of that in high school at all.
Yeah. As soon as you said that, I was just thinking, oh, wait, we did do that because we had keg parties. But that doesn't.
The technical knowledge always.
Yeah.
always
But yeah, keg parties, like every group seemed to like forget, just kind of hang out at times. But I don't know. I'm just.
Yeah.
But I mean, that would be kind of neat. Like, I wonder why they don't do stuff like that. Almost like a mixer or a mixer. Yeah, some kind of
high school.
Yeah, like the 1950s, like social club.
I think that it's not as, again, the roles aren't as delineated. So I think like a lot of like popular kids probably have a lot of technical knowledge, right?
Yeah.
It's not like the same anymore. Like it's not like geeky to know about computers.
Right.
And it's actually kind of like a standard.
Yeah, it's mainstream.
So it would look different now,
It wasn't everybody sitting in the computer lab with a big square apple.
The green screen and
playing Oregon Trail.
Yeah. Well, actually, let's do a lighter question. So
Okay.
if you were to be a part of a group, what would your color be?
Oh, I like that. Well, My favorite color is green, so I probably would choose green. Green and teal are my favorite colors.
Green is also very earthy and meditative. In the movie, it was kind of considered like
Envy.
green with envy, but I think green is certainly a calm kind of,
Yeah.
meditative, like down to earth.
Yeah.
person.
And I've always been drawn to it. I have a lot of teal and green in my house too. What about you? What would your color be?
I don't know. I mean, like, I love purple, but I don't feel like I would be a purple person. I was thinking kind of green too, but like more of I just discovered so my this is a little bit of a rant, but I just discovered that my birthstone amethyst, I've always associated with purple, but there's green amethyst.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just got a pair of earrings that are green amethyst, and they're like very, very light
Mhm.
green. And I love light green and forest green. And I just feel like that would be something I would really like. I don't
Yeah,
know. I would
yeah.
kind of like to be that, I don't know, just the feel of that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Yeah,
my
so
birthstone's green too. That's weird.
yeah.
So,
I mean, mine is like traditionally purple, but
yeah,
it's like I kind of really like the green one.
yeah,
So I don't know, maybe purple and green. Maybe
yeah.
that
Those are
that
nice
would be
together
kind of
too.
pleasing
You'll be a
too.
priest at Advent.
My purple and green
Yeah.
garb, yeah. I guess maybe that's my destiny. I don't
Yeah,
know.
maybe you're gonna become a priest, a Catholic
I
priest.
really, really doubt that. But yeah, seeing as how I still don't think they even allow female priests.
I don't know. I know Episcopal does, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even know. And I definitely was never on that path. So,
All right. Sorry.
yeah. but but yeah, so let us know what your color would be and why and what you think about the movie. But
Yeah, and
anything else?
and this will
Any other
be
comments?
no, I mean, I think we're going to be releasing this in February. So hopefully you look forward to, we have a lot of good shows coming up. Like that's what Tanya was saying earlier. We have a lot. I think you guys will be excited.
Yeah, lots of good things. And probably maybe some more appearances from Winona. The Winona wormhole.
Yeah,
The wicked Winonas.
Yes, we are signing off for the wicked Winonas. Winona Judd's going to contact us and be like, am I part of that?
You can be for a fee. Yeah, but Winona Ryder, she's free.
Yeah.
She gets that's
Yeah,
just,
she can.
ride or die.
I used to always love all her haircuts too. She was always so cute. Like every
Oh,
hairstyle
yeah,
she's had,
yeah.
she always looks good.
I remember when I was younger, like probably in my early 20s, somebody told me I looked like Winona because I have pale skin and dark hair. I
Yeah.
think that was the only.
It's like, oh my gosh, that's the best person to be compared to.
Yeah. And they like, I mean, the person was kind of, somebody standing by was like, that's not a compliment. I was like, it sure is. Yes, it is.
And I will always
100%.
cherish it. Yes.
Yes, I will cling to that. Okay. But anyways, yeah, so that's us, the Wicked Winonas. But don't forget, stay wicked.
And keep your mind well. All right. Have a great week and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Thanks so much for listening today to the Wicked Psychotherapist podcast. Be sure to like and follow us on Apple, Spotify, and Amazon, or wherever else you listen to your podcasts.